give you more detailed information about the further what's required for the Tier 1 entrepreneur. Mohammed?
Hello all, this is as Mr. Muzaffar explained to you, I'm immigration advisor approved by the Home Office to provide immigration advisor inside the UK and outside. We are here to discuss the Kingdom Plan, which will give you an opportunity that you can come to the UK and for permission for 3 years, and then you can extend it for another 2 years, and you can get a permanent resident, which is called indefinite leave to remain. The program is called Tier 1 Entrepreneur, which is based on point-based system that you have collect a number of points in different categories, ranging from your previous experience plus how much you will be invested, which is the minimum is 200,000 sterling, and you're passing an English test of you, or you can have qualification from the UK or English-speaking country. You can skip this English test, and you need to provide all this evidence together with the application that you will do to the British Embassy from your home country or the country of residence. The next slide will be discussing about that. Once you apply for the visa, you will get an 3 years and 4 months. That's the first part of the visa, which will allow you to stay in the UK. You'll be UK resident. You can start your business, and during the first 3 years, you need to invest the 2,000 sterling pounds and operate the business. There are other requirements beside the investment, that you need to employ at least 2 British citizens or 2 holders of the indefinite leave to remain in the UK. After the 3 years, you will be able to extend your visa for another 2 years, which make the total for 5 years, when you can apply for full permanent resident, or it's called indefinite leave to remain, or for extension ILR. During the first 5 years before getting the permanent resident, you will be allowed to do anything inside the UK. You can study, you can start your own business, your children can go to the public schools, your wife or spouse can work full-time or study. There are no restrictions. The only restriction that you have, that yourself, the main applicant, will not be able to apply for jobs. You can manage or be director in your own company that you have been invested the money in, and you are not allowed to apply for benefits or welfare support from the UK government during the first 5 years only. After the next slide, we will discuss about how you can achieve this requirements. As I mentioned before, that you need at least 75 points to get this, and this is gather starting from your previous experience, that you have the money available to be invested, and there will be 10 points for the English language and 10 points for the maintenance. The maintenance, that will be an extra almost £3,000 that makes sure that you will use these funds to live on, because you are not allowed to depend on the 200k or 200,000 sterling as the way to fund your living expenses in the UK. So this will be an extra 3,000 to make sure that this will be used as the expenses for your stay in the UK. We will discuss in the next slide that what is the minimum requirement, or what is the requirement for the funds. The money have to be cash. It could be in any bank in the world. It doesn't have to be in the UK or your home country. If you are living in Dubai, if you belong to Russia or any other country, it can be in any. It can be held in any regulated bank. The means of regulated bank, that the bank that hold the money have to be regulated by the country. For example, if it's in the UK, it have to be regulated by the FCA, which is the money authority that regulated the money of the funds in the country, or your home country. For example, Dubai, it has to be operated or regulated by the money authority in the country. The money have to be in your name, or if you are joining the money with, if you are doing the application with a partner, it could be in joint names. There is an option that you can have the invested in partners. I mean, you can have a mini applicant, yourself and your family, and you can have another one, a partner, another applicant that can invest the 200 with you. There is a special requirement for this. We will send you more details by mail. One of the second requirements also that the money have to be available. It can be transferred and free. It doesn't. It have to be cash and can be transferred in your name to the UK anytime that you wish. That's the main requirement for the availability of the money. It can be in deposits, but the deposit can be withdrawn anytime. We'll discuss in the next slide. When you bring the money to the UK, you need to invest this money during the after granting the visa during the first 6 months, and we will handle at the Kingdom Plan with Seed Mentors, our corporate lawyers that will handle the investment of the money and make sure that we are all the paperwork are as a home office requirements. There is a lot of regulations you need to make sure before transferring the money and after transferring the money that you have met. During the first 3 years, there is a lot of homework and regulations need to be matched. So before the extension, make sure that all the homework have been done and you match the regulations so you can extend your visa after the 3 years. For the next slide, regarding the English requirements, you can, if you are over 65 years or you have already a degree from the UK or an English-speaking country, the list of English-speaking country will provide to you that you don't need to pass the English test. The English test it's very low level English. It's called IELTS Life Skills Level B1, which is different from the academic IELTS or the other immigration IELTS from other countries, which just the number of requirements to pass the test is very low, and just test your general knowledge how you can deal in English in daily life requirements. That's regarding the English part. And there's another requirement that you need to have at least 3,310 for each applicant that needed to be available beside the 200,000 sterling that would be used as your expenses in the UK. And this could be in the main bank account. It could be used in another bank account. The money could be in any other currency. It doesn't have to be in sterling pounds. It can be in dirhams. It can be in dollars. It can be euros. But you need to make sure that the money have been staying in the bank for 90 days before applying, and it's above. If you're doing the currency exchange, it's above the 200 sterling thousand during the 90 days. For the next slide, what we will need from you to make sure that you'll be successful your case and application to the British Embassy of your application. We need to understand about your business background, what you have done during your whatever your job, or you are an entrepreneur, or you're running your own business, or you're running the kind of business you need to have. We will need to have your CV, including all the details. We need to have your bank statements and your professional qualification regarding if you have a master's, bachelor degrees, or PhDs from which countries, and we will match your background experience with the business. That's the cornerstone of our program, which is different from other providers, that we are providing 100% success rate, that we are make sure that the application that will be submitted to the Home Office is be approved, and they will not need any more information after we send the application. There is a high risk when you start your own business inside the UK and applying for this visa, that the failure rate is very high. So we are make sure that we are lowering the risk, because you are investing in the current businesses and it matches your experience and already have been started and generating revenue. So when you invest in the current business, the Home Office will make sure that we will make sure that the Home Office are satisfied and all requirements for granting the visa is passed. For the next slide, after you investing in the businesses, we will take care of the regulatory side of running the businesses. In order to be, during the first 3 years, once you granted the visa, you need to register the company, which you have already, it's already done, and you will join as a director. You will be required to attend a monthly board meeting as a director of the company, and all the board meetings and the minutes will be applied and kept for 3 years during your before your extension for the visa. One of the main requirements also that you need to employ at least 2 full-time paid for at least 12 months. It's not during the 3 years, but you can employ 2 persons. Each one will be employed for 12 months, and they have to be a British citizen or living in the UK permanently. We will take care of this. You don't have to look for people to join the current business. We'll take over regulatory and the requirements to make sure that when you are applying for extension after 3 years, all the requirements have been fulfilled. That's the certain part for the requirements. Once you finish the first 3 years, you can apply for extension, which is another 2 years. And once you have been inside the UK for 5 years, you can apply for something called the permanent resident or settlement, or for extension indefinite leave to remain, ILR. After 5 years, it will be just yourself, your wife and kids. Once you finish this and you granted the indefinite leave to remain, you will be you don't have any requirements to fulfill after the 5 years. You can exit your business. You can look for work. You have all the same requirements and responsibilities as the British citizen, except that you are not allowed to vote. There is one requirement for staying during the 5 years. You need to stay inside the country at least 180 days per year. So you can be outside for 6 months and you can be inside for 6 months. It doesn't have to be 6 months continuously. It could be 1 month and out and inside. But it's we need to make sure that you don't exceed the 6 months per year. We understand that most people that doing this application are businessmen and they need to travel frequently. We have different solutions we can match and discuss in case by case if there is special requirements. That's a general idea about the Kingdom Plan and how we can join forces between myself as an immigration lawyer and Mr. Muzaffar as the seed mentors to provide a 100% success rate for applying for the Tier 1 entrepreneur visa, which we're using it at the Kingdom Plan. Thank you very much.